Something just shifted in the Lucy Connelly case. Big time. What started as yet another disgraceful example of Britain's war on free speech has now caught the attention of people you'd never expect. And for Keir Starmer and his government, this changes everything. The pressure is no longer just coming from inside the UK. Let me show you what just happened. But first, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more. Right, let's talk about the Lucy Connelly case, because it's just taken a very unexpected turn, and it's a turn that should deeply embarrass the British government. For those who've been following this, you'll know what happened. A British mother was jailed, yes, jailed, over a tweet, one that she deleted, and for that, she's now serving a prison sentence of over 2.5 years. Not a fine, not a suspended sentence. She's in prison. This isn't some distant rumour or online speculation. This is real. And it's happening in 2025, in a country that likes to call itself a democracy. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The case has caught international attention, not from tabloids or influencers, but from inside the US Senate. Senator Marco Rubio has started looking into what's happened here. He's not a fringe figure. He sits on intelligence committees, foreign affairs panels. The man knows exactly what government overreach looks like. So when someone like him starts examining the way our government is jailing people over tweets, that's not some throwaway comment. That's a sign that the UK's reputation on basic civil liberties is under serious scrutiny, and rightly so. Let's take a step back. While Lucy Connelly is in a prison cell for something she said, here's a short list of who isn't in jail. Extremists who openly support terrorist causes. Political figures like Labour councillor Ricky Jones, who publicly called for a bloodbath against people he politically disagrees with, out on bail. Media personalities facing disturbing allegations, not charged, not convicted, still at large. What we're seeing is a government that's picking and choosing who to prosecute, not based on threat, not based on public safety, but based on politics. Based on whether or not you fall in line with their view of what speech is acceptable. And it doesn't stop with Lucy. This is part of a wider pattern. Ask yourself, how many people are now being investigated, fined, or even arrested for things they've said online, particularly if those views lean conservative, nationalist, or simply anti-establishment. That's the environment we're in now. And while the mainstream media tiptoe around it, others are taking notice. And they're not British. Let's be honest, this isn't about protecting society from harm. This is about control. It's about sending a message, say the wrong thing, and we'll make an example out of you. And the fact that it's a mother who got dragged into this mess makes it all the more absurd. And frankly, sinister. What kind of government lets violent criminals roam free, but locks up a parent over a post that hurts someone's feelings? If you believe in free speech, not hate, not threats, but genuine speech, this case should alarm you. Because if they can do this to her, they can do it to anyone. And now with American politicians stepping in, it's obvious. This is no longer just a local injustice. This is a national embarrassment that's gone global. And, make no mistake, this is deeply political. Keir Starmer leads a government that talks a big game about unity and fairness, but acts like disagreement is a threat. He doesn't go after people who pose a real risk to the country. He goes after those who challenge the narrative, people who speak up, people who won't apologise for their opinions or pretend to support things they fundamentally disagree with. That's not leadership, that's cowardice. Now that Rubio and others are turning their eyes towards Britain, Starmer's position is more exposed than ever. Because this isn't some anonymous crackdown. This is a documented case of someone being imprisoned for expression. And whether the British press wants to admit it or not, that matters. And it's not going away. The pressure is building, not because of some orchestrated campaign, but because more and more people, here and abroad, are starting to see what's really happening. That behind all the polished speeches and photo ops, we've got a government that's happy to criminalise speech if it challenges the status quo. Lucy Connelly's name shouldn't be forgotten. She's not a martyr and she's not perfect. but she represents something a lot bigger than herself now. She's a reminder of what happens when a state gets too comfortable silencing dissent. So where does this go next? That depends on us, because silence is how this kind of thing becomes normal. It's how governments test the waters, and once the public shrugs it off, they push further. So the choice is simple. Either we accept that the state now has the power to jail people over speech, or we push back while we still can. I know where I stand. In other news, a 72-year-old pensioner is among 2 women who have been arrested during a pro-Palestine protest in Belfast. Sue Pentel, a prominent member of the Ireland-Palestine Solidarity Campaign, IPSC, was detained alongside another woman in her 50s on suspicion of criminal damage. Video footage circulating online shows Pentel being forced into the back of a police van by 2 officers after the demonstration in the Castle Place area. Before being led to the police vehicle, the elderly activist was heard saying, "Children are starving in Gaza. Don't use Barclays Bank." The PSNI said they received a report relating to a protest in the Castle Place area on Saturday morning, and officers attended the scene. According to a statement from Ireland-Palestine Solidarity Campaign, IPSC Belfast, Pentel is being held on the charge of criminal damage for putting a small sticker on a cash machine. The Irish News reported that activists were demonstrating outside the bank and calling for a boycott when they were arrested after stickers promoting the boycott were allegedly placed on a bank machine. Several politicians have criticized the arrests. Sinn Féin MLA Pat Sheehan called the detention disgraceful, saying, "It is disgraceful that Sue Pentel, an elderly Jewish woman who has consistently and bravely campaigned for an end to Israel's genocide in Gaza, has been arrested by the PSNI." He added, highlighting the genocidal, inhumane slaughter of defenseless civilians and those who enable it is not a crime. People Before Profit MLA Jerry Carroll said, "All over the world, Israel's legitimacy has utterly crumbled, and so the establishment is ramping up its repression to try and silence protesters." SDLP councillor Paul Doherty expressed being deeply concerned by the arrests during what he described as a peaceful protest. The IPSC Belfast expressed shock at the PSNI treatment of a lifelong anti-racist activist who was arrested for standing up to protect international human rights and law. In a statement, the group said they support the international calls for the boycott of companies which help to fund and arm Israel in its brutal campaign against the people of Palestine. A joint statement from Derry IPSC, Mid-Ulster IPSC, and BDS Strabane said they were shocked but not surprised at the serious escalation in the criminalisation of Palestine activists. Following the arrests, a number of pro-Palestinian protesters gathered outside Musgrave Police Station, where the 2 women are being held in custody. The demonstration was organised in solidarity with the detained activists, with supporters demanding their release. "We stand in full solidarity with all those facing repression for speaking out against genocide," the joint statement from Derry IPSC, Mid-Ulster IPSC, and BDS Strabane added. Councillor Doherty called for the activists to be released without charge, stating, "Barclays should rightfully be boycotted due to their financial ties with companies that supply weapons and military technology to Israel." Sinn Féin's Pat Sheehan confirmed his party would be raising our concerns directly with the PSNI. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you have not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.